This happened back in 2019 when I was working night shift at a Walmart in Terre Haute, Indiana. I was 23 at the time, just trying to save money for college while living in my studio apartment off Wabash Avenue. I've always been pretty level-headed, not the type to spook easily, but what happened that November still messes with me. Real quick before we move forward, we'd love to know where you're watching from, so shout out your city or country in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time, that way you won't miss any of our upcoming uploads. The store I worked at was one of those 24-hour locations, and I'd been on the overnight cashier rotation for about 8 months. My shift ran from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., Tuesday through Saturday. Most nights were dead quiet after 2 a.m., just the occasional trucker, some insomniacs, and the cleaning crew. I actually preferred it that way. Less drama than day shift. Lane 13 was at the far end of the checkout area, closest to the garden center entrance. Nobody liked working that lane because the scanner glitched constantly and the conveyor belt made this awful grinding sound. Management kept saying they'd fix it, but you know how that goes. Still, it didn't bother me much. I'd bring my headphones and just zone out between customers. It was a Wednesday night, around 1:30 a.m., when things started feeling off. I was restocking bags at my register when I noticed this guy standing at the end of lane 13. He wasn't in line, just standing there, staring at the closed register. Tall, maybe 62, wearing a dark blue jacket and jeans. His face was partially hidden by a baseball cap pulled low. I called out, "Sir, I can help you over here at lane 4. But he didn't respond, didn't even turn his head. I figured maybe he was mentally out of it or something, so I walked over. As I got closer, I noticed he had no shopping cart, no basket, nothing in his hands. "Can I help you find something?" I asked, probably 4 feet away from him now. He slowly turned toward me, and I got my first good look at his face. Middle-aged, maybe late 40s, with this completely blank expression. Not angry, not confused, just empty. His eyes focused on my name tag for way too long. "Lane 13, he said quietly, "this one. It's closed right now, but I can ring you up at." "Lane 13, he repeated, same flat tone. Okay, weird, but I dealt with weird before. I told him I'd open it up if he really wanted, even though it made no sense. He just nodded once and stepped back. I unlocked the register, logged in, and turned on the light. The whole time he stood there watching me, not moving, barely blinking. My stomach was starting to knot up, but I kept telling myself he was probably just tired or on some medication. "Do you have any items to purchase?" I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his jacket pocket slowly, deliberately, and I swear my heart stopped for a second. But he just pulled out a crumpled piece of paper and placed it on the conveyor belt. I picked it up. It was a Walmart receipt from lane 13, dated exactly 1 week earlier, November 6, 2019 at 1:47 a.m. The items were random: a bag of apples, batteries, duct tape, bleach, trash bags. Total came to $43.67. The cashier code was mine. "I don't remember this," I said, which was true. A week of overnight shifts blurred together. "You were here," he said. "Lane 13, you helped her." "Helped who?" He tilted his head slightly, still with that empty stare. "She came through your line, brown hair, white jacket. You asked if she needed help with her bags." I literally had no memory of this, but I probably asked 50 people a week if they needed help with bags. "Okay, well, do you need to return something or?" "She never made it to her car." The way he said it made my blood run cold. The fluorescent lights above lane 13 flickered. They'd been doing that for weeks, but right then it felt wrong. "I'm sorry, I don't understand what you need from me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He leaned forward, hands on the conveyor belt. "What did you talk about? What did she say to you?" I don't remember her." "Try." At that point I was done. This wasn't customer service anymore. This was something else. I could feel my hands starting to shake. "Sir, I'm going to need you to." The lights in lane 13 went completely out, not flickered out. The register screen went black, but all the other lanes stayed lit. Just mine went dark. In that darkness, I heard him say very quietly, she screamed, "In the parking lot, Section G, nobody came." I backed up, fumbling for my phone in my pocket. When I got the flashlight on, he was gone, completely gone. I spun around, checking every direction, but the entire front end was empty. The garden center doors hadn't opened. I would have heard the chime. I ran to the customer service desk where my coworker Brendan was counting cigarettes. "Did you see that guy?" I asked, my voice cracking. "What guy?" "Tall blue jacket, just at lane 13. Brendan looked at me like I was losing it. "Dude, I've been watching the front. Nobody came in for the last 40 minutes except that lady who bought diapers at lane 8. I showed him the receipt. He gave me this. Brendan studied it, then checked the system. "That's your transaction code, yeah, from last Wednesday." He scrolled through the surveillance log. "Camera footage from that night is corrupted though. Been that way since Friday. IT's supposed to fix it." My shift manager, Carol, came over and I explained everything. She was skeptical but agreed to check the parking lot cameras for tonight. Nothing. No one had entered or exited through the garden center in over an hour. I wanted to leave right then, but Carol convinced me to finish my shift. She stayed up front with me, and I refused to go near lane 13. At around 3 a.m., she pulled me aside. "I checked with the police scanner frequencies," she said quietly. "There was an incident in our parking lot, November 6th. Section G woman attacked, never identified. They found her purse but no body." I felt like I was going to be sick. "Who told you about this?" Carol asked. "Nobody, that guy. He told me." Carol's face went pale. She showed me a sketch on her phone that she'd pulled from a news site. Police were looking for a witness or a suspect. Tall, 40s, blue jacket. I transferred to day shift the next week. I don't care if the pay is less. Lane 13 is still there, but they keep it permanently closed now. Management says it's due to technical issues. I've never forgotten that receipt, and I think about that woman sometimes. Whoever she was. Whatever happened to her in Section G, and I think about how he knew exactly what lane I was working, exactly what time, exactly which night. I've always been the type of person who thrives under pressure. Give me chaos, give me 50 things happening at once, and I'll manage it. That's why I took the assistant manager position at a Walmart in Beaverton, Oregon, just off Highway 217. This happened in 2021, the day after Thanksgiving. I was 26, had been with the company for 3 years, worked my way up from stock associate. I honestly thought I'd seen every kind of chaos retail could throw at me. I was wrong. Black Friday was always insane, but that year felt different from the start. We opened at 5 a.m. and by 4:30 a.m. there were already 300 people outside. The energy in that crowd felt aggressive more than usual. My manager, Dennis, noticed it too. "Keep extra security near electronics," he told me. "This feels like a powder keg." The doors opened and it was the typical stampede. People sprinting toward TVs, screaming over discounted air fryers, the whole nightmare. But we were managing it. By 9 a.m., the worst seemed over. The crowds thinned. Most of the doorbuster deals were gone. That's when I noticed her. A woman, maybe mid-30s, wearing black leggings and a gray hoodie, standing completely still in the main action alley. People were flowing around her like water around a rock, but she wasn't looking at merchandise. She was staring at the ceiling. I walked over. "Ma'am, can I help you find something?" She slowly lowered her gaze to me. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she had this thin smile that didn't reach anywhere near her eyes. "What time is it?" she asked. "It's 9:14 a.m. She laughed this short, harsh sound. No, what time does it start? What starts? Black Friday. I thought she was confused, maybe hadn't slept. It already started. We opened at 5. Her smile faded. No, it starts at 5. We have to be ready. Before I could respond, she turned and walked toward the entrance, moving stiffly, robotically. I watched her join the crowd near the doors, just standing there with everyone else who was leaving. Weird, but whatever. I had actual problems to deal with. A fight broke out in toys. A kid threw up in seasonal. Someone tried to steal a PlayStation by hiding it in a turkey bag. Around 11 a.m. I saw her again. Same spot in the action alley. Same position, staring at the ceiling. My stomach dropped. I approached slowly. Ma'am, we spoke earlier. Are you okay? She looked at me, and I swear she had no recognition in her eyes. What time is it? It's 11 a.m. No, what time does it start? The exact same words, same inflection. Black Friday already happened, I said carefully. It's still going, but it starts at 5. We have to be ready. Then she walked to the entrance again, same stiff walk. I radioed Dennis. We might have a customer having some kind of medical episode. Gray hoodie, black leggings, keeps asking what time Black Friday starts. Can you get her name? We might need to call someone for her. I tried, but when I got to the entrance, she was gone. Over the next 2 hours, I saw her 4 more times, always in the action alley, always asking the same question, always walking to the entrance afterward. Each time, I'd try to follow her, but she'd vanish into the thinning crowd. By 2 p.m., I was seriously freaked out. I checked our security cameras with Tony, our loss prevention guy. Show me the woman in the gray hoodie, I said. Should be multiple times this morning. Tony scrubbed through the footage. We found her first appearance at 9:08 a.m. Watching it back was worse than experiencing it. She stood in that spot for exactly 6 minutes, didn't blink, didn't move, then walked to the entrance at 9:14 a.m. Okay, that's creepy, Tony muttered. We found the second appearance. Same thing, 6 minutes, same spot, the third, the fourth. Wait, I said, go back to the entrance footage. Tony pulled it up. We watched her walk toward the doors at 9:14 a.m. She stepped outside, joined the dispersing crowd, and then, right at the edge of camera view, she stopped. We switched to the parking lot camera. She was standing in the fire lane, just standing there, for exactly 33 minutes. At 9:47 a.m., she turned around and walked back inside. What the hell? Tony whispered. We tracked her route. She walked through the store, passing clothing, passing groceries, straight back to the action alley, stood there again. This is a loop, I said. She's doing the same thing over and over. Dennis joined us. We showed him. His face went pale. Have we seen her face clearly? He asked. Tony zoomed in on her best angle. Her face was gaunt, her expression completely blank except for that thin smile. But what made my skin crawl was her clothes. When we enhanced the image, we could see stains on her hoodie, dark stains. And her hands, her fingernails were black, caked with something. We need to call the police, Dennis said. Before we could, the power went out. Emergency lights kicked on, bathing everything in that eerie red glow. Probably grid overload from all the space heaters people bought, Tony said. But my chest was tight. What time is it? Dennis checked his phone. 4:53 p.m. Black Friday started at 5 a.m., I said slowly. 12 hours ago. We heard it then, from the front of the store. A sound like hundreds of footsteps, all at once. I grabbed a radio. Front end, what's going on up there? Static, then a shaky voice. Melissa, one of our cashiers. There's a crowd at the doors. A huge crowd. We're not doing another opening, Dennis said into his radio. Doors stay locked. They're not trying to get in, Melissa said. They're just standing there like they're waiting. Dennis and I ran to the front. Through the glass doors lit by the parking lot lights was a crowd of at least 200 people, all standing perfectly still, all facing the doors. And right in front, closest to the glass, was the woman in the gray hoodie. "What time does it start?" I heard her say, muffled through the glass. Then others began repeating it. "What time does it start? What time does it start?" A chant growing louder. Dennis was on the phone with 911. The power flickered back on. The crowd outside didn't move. Then at exactly 5:00 p.m., they all turned around in unison and walked away. Just dispersed into the parking lot, got into cars and left. The woman in the gray hoodie was gone. Police arrived 20 minutes later. They checked cameras, took statements. One officer pulled me aside. "You said she had dark stains on her clothes." "Yeah, looked like it." He showed me a photo on his phone. "Is this her?" It was, same woman, same hoodie. "She was reported missing on Black Friday 2019, he said quietly. "Found deceased in her apartment 3 days later. They ruled it exhaustion and dehydration. Apparently, she'd camped outside a store for 2 days straight, went home after Black Friday and never woke up." I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. "Which store?" I asked, even though I knew. He looked up at our building. "This one." I quit 2 weeks later. Dennis transferred. They don't do overnight Black Friday at that location anymore. I still don't shop on Black Friday, and if I'm ever in a store and someone asks, "What time does it start?" I leave immediately. Some loops don't end. Some people never leave the place that killed them. What would you do if you were locked inside a Walmart overnight and realized you weren't alone? I thought I knew the answer to that question. I thought I'd just find a manager, get the doors unlocked, and leave. But when it actually happened to me in the summer of 2022, nothing went the way I expected. I was 19, working at a Walmart in Fayetteville, Arkansas, near the university. I was doing the late shift stock crew. We'd come in at 10 p.m. and work until 6 a.m., restocking shelves while the store was closed. It was my first real job, and I mostly kept to myself. My crew leader was this guy named Marcus who'd been there for like 7 years. He knew that store inside and out. We closed to customers at 11 p.m., locked the doors, and then it was just our crew of 6 doing freight. The building was huge, one of those supercenters, and at night it felt even bigger. All those empty aisles stretching into darkness. The overhead lights on half power. It was eerie, but you got used to it. On July 12th, we were working the grocery side. Me, Marcus, and a guy named Tyler were breaking down pallets of canned goods. Around 12:30 a.m., Tyler said he was going on break and headed to the back room. He didn't come back. At 1:15 a.m., Marcus radioed him. "Tyler, break over, man." No response. We walked back there. The break room was empty. His jacket was still on the chair. His phone was on the table, which was weird because Tyler was glued to that thing. We checked the bathrooms, the receiving dock, no Tyler. "Maybe he went out for a smoke," I said. Marcus shook his head. "Doors are locked, he'd have to badge out." He checked the system, no record. That's when the intercom crackled to life. "Attention Walmart shoppers." It was Tyler's voice, but wrong, strained. "The store is now closed. Please make your way to the nearest exit." The intercom cut out. "What the hell?" Marcus whispered. "The office intercom is off." We ran back to check. The office was empty. Marcus picked up the intercom phone. Dead. The lights in the main corridor went out. Emergency backup lights kicked on, those dim ones that give everything a sickly green tint. We heard footsteps, running, coming from electronics. "Tyler!" Marcus yelled. The footsteps stopped, then Tyler screamed. We sprinted toward electronics. The screaming stopped just before we got there. Electronics was empty, but every TV was on, showing security camera footage of us, right now, running through the store. On one screen behind us in the feed was a figure, tall, standing in the aisle we'd just come from. We spun around. The aisle was empty. Marcus's radio crackled. Tyler's voice barely a whisper. "Stockroom, Section Q, help me." Section Q was at the back of the warehouse. We'd been told never to go back there at night, safety hazard, bad lighting, but we didn't care anymore. We found Tyler sitting on the floor between two massive shelving units. His face was white. "Tyler, what happened?" "It's still here," Tyler said. "It followed me from the compactor." "What followed you?" "I heard someone say my name. I thought it was you, but when I turned around," he trailed off. "It looked like a customer, old woman, maybe 70, but her eyes were completely black, and she kept asking me to help her find something." "Where is she now?" I asked. "I ran, she chased me, I hid back here. She stood at the entrance for 20 minutes just staring, then she walked away." "Tyler, there are no customers in the store," Marcus said slowly. "We're locked in." We helped him up and made our way back toward the front. As we passed clothing, all the mannequins were facing the same direction, toward us. "They weren't like that before," I said. "Keep moving," Marcus hissed. The intercom crackled again. A woman's voice, elderly, pleasant. "Tyler, sweetie, I still need help finding the fabric softener. Aisle 12, isn't it?" Tyler's breathing became rapid. The overhead lights in aisle 12 turned on. Just that aisle. Bright white light in the middle of darkness. We could see her standing at the far end, gray hair, floral dress, shopping cart. She started walking toward us, steady, purposeful. "Back door," Marcus said. "Now." We ran to receiving. Marcus's badge wouldn't work. He tried 3 times, nothing. He punched in the override code. Red light. Access denied. Behind us, the shopping cart, squeaky wheel, getting closer. "Fire exit," Tyler gasped. The fire exit door wouldn't open, locked from the outside somehow. The cart sound stopped. We turned around slowly. She was standing 20 feet away. Her eyes were completely black, voids. "I need help," she said sweetly. "Why won't you help me?" Marcus stepped forward. "Ma'am, the store is closed. You need to leave." She tilted her head. "But I never left. I've been here the whole time, since 1994. I remembered then Marcus had mentioned someone died in this store before I was born. A customer. Heart attack in the garden center. "June," Marcus said quietly. "June Holloway." The thing smiled. "I need help finding fabric softener." "It's in aisle 14 now," Marcus said, his voice steady. "Has been since 2015. I can show you." Marcus started walking. Tyler and I followed, terrified. He led her to aisle 14, pointed at the fabric softener. "Here you go, June." She reached out. Her hand passed through a bottle of Downy. Her form flickered. "Oh," she said softly. I can't carry it." "That's okay," Marcus said gently. "I'll help you to check out." He walked her to customer service, logged into a register, scanned a bottle, completed the transaction. "Have a good night," he said. June smiled, and this time it looked real, human. She walked toward the front doors, right through them, vanished into the parking lot. The second she disappeared, all the lights came back on. Every system rebooted. Marcus's radio crackled with the other crew members asking what happened with the power. Tyler quit the next day. I made it 2 more weeks. Marcus still works there. When I asked him how he knew what to do, he said he'd encountered her twice before. She just wants to finish her shopping. She doesn't know she's dead. Help her complete what she came for. Then she settles down for a while. For a while. He shrugged. She comes back every few months. I never got used to it. I work at a gas station now, normal hours. If you ever work retail overnight and something feels wrong, trust that feeling. And if someone asks you for help finding something after the store is closed, remember that not everyone who shops there is still alive. Some of them just don't know how to leave.